What's up, AEW faithful? This is your boy Ropey Opinions, repping the Gang Bang Gang. I'm here with a soft relaunch of my channel. Now, I don't like that word, soft relaunch. This isn't a soft relaunch, this is a flaccid relaunch. Enfeebled. Disappointing for everyone concerned relaunch. The reason for the soft relaunch is simple. My original video from back in May was pulled by WWE for containing a 3-second, 4-second clip of WrestleMania 3. It had 45 views. Bit of a cell phone to start. But fair play to Triple H. That man runs a tight ship. He can detect a video with 45 views that contains a 3-second clip of WrestleMania 3's Great Lie. He cannot detect sex trafficking that his father carried out right under his nose. I salute you, Triple H, hereafter known as the Cerebral Accomplice. Here's what we're going to talk about. All In. It's this Sunday. I'll be going as I did last year. What's going to be good? What am I looking forward to? What's going to suck, Jericho? What's going to suck? And what am I not looking forward to? Might as well start at the beginning. Apparently only one match has been announced for the kickoff show. 0 hour, the buy-in, the pre-com, whatever they're calling it these days. Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. A little context for any WWE fans who don't know who Tomohiro Ishii is, because he's 5'7" and Japanese, which are both anathema to you people. He's a very, very, very good professional wrestler. He's terribly, terribly hard. Possibly the thinking is you put him in there with Chris Statlander, and Statlander's maybe a little bit taller than him, and they are trying to get her over as a bad bitch, and you know, she could probably throw him about a bit, which will do wonders for her rep. But you don't get a babyface over by putting them into what is effectively a handicap match with the opposition having the handicap. I like Stokely Hathaway a lot. He's not a wrestler. He's certainly not a wrestler in Tomohiro Ishii's league. So this match between Willow and Chris, which apparently seems to be the deciding match, will be put off until shortly after the end of recorded time, is not going to be served at all by this. I can only hope it's worth a laugh, this match, because otherwise it's a complete waste of everyone's time. Remember that time when Shane McMahon was on the team for WCW, ECW versus WWF at the Survivor Series? All that time he was on Team SmackDown against Team Raw. Basically any fucking Shane McMahon match, that's what we're talking about here. It's a 2-on-1 match. We're going to do this in a random order on the main show, so we're going to start with the match I'm most excited about, which is obviously Will Ospreay versus MJF for the AEW, whatever the fuck they're calling it this week, championship. Ordinarily, with the first match that good, I'd be like, don't run it back, but then again, imagine if I said that after Okada versus Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. With the quality of the talent involved, you have to assume this is going to storm the house. So let's just get really fucking excited for it. I personally think MJF's going to win, and I'll tell you for why. I think MJF is doing a cracking job of satirising your MAGA voter, your Trump enthusiast, the sort of person that thinks if America says this is the right thing to do, then the rest of the world should follow. I think MJF is skewering that sort of middle America idiocy that hopefully will not prevail later on this year. This was present the very first time he wore that new fancy belt out to the ring, and there were some people shouting USA, USA, and he immediately shut them down. He's not there to represent your average American. He's there to tell your average American who thinks Donald Trump is a good thing, you're a fucking idiot, and I am why you shouldn't be cheering for that guy. This is in stark contrast to WWE's top babyface. Fucking look at this. Apologies for the resolution of the image, but I'm obviously terrified that WWE will send their cyber army after me instead of, you know, dealing with pedos. Look at the fucking shoulder pads, mate. Look at them. Now, I understand that The Boys was sponsoring Money in the Bank, and The Boys is a fucking brilliant show. I absolutely love it. And I know that WWE cares a bit more about money than wrestling, but still, and I cannot believe I have to say this, Homelander is the bad guy. So yeah, I think MJF's got somewhere to go with this American Championship. I think the gimmick's got somewhere to run. I've no idea who's going to beat him. But hopefully, along the way, at no point does he associate with a Nazi, as Homelander did. One thing, MJF needs to retire the kangaroo kick, because when he does it, this is all I see. Let's talk about the trios title match. We've got the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, and the what the fuck are they called? House of Black. Should be an absolute war. Should be proper spot fest, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that on a card of this nature. There's enough maniacs on this card between Juice Robinson, Brody King. My theory is Nick Wayne must be a maniac to make up for that utter lack of personality. We'll find out. But here's the intangible. Who's the other team? Who's the other team? The mystery team. I want it to be Death Triangle. I think we all want it to be Death Triangle, don't we? I want Pac to have his Wembley moment. I also want to know that AEW have locked down the Lucha Brothers, one of the 3 best tag teams of all time, to a fucking contract. I think we all want to know that. And let's be honest, that's not going to happen because Orange Cassidy isn't on the card. To be clear, I really like Orange Cassidy. I didn't always. That whole fucking DDT thing of his, that rotating DDT thing that he did every match for like at least 3 occasions, it really got on my nerves. His limited moveset got on my nerves. But his run with the International Championship won me over. He's a terrific wrestler. I want to see Mark Briscoe for the crowd reaction. I want to see Kyle O'Reilly, or as my girlfriend calls him, Kyle O'Reilly. I'm happy to see the conglomeration. It's just if anyone other than Death Triangle is going to be disappointing. So what's my prediction for who's going to win the match? It's not that I don't care about the trios titles. I don't want them to get hot potatoed the way that NJPW used to. I would like the Patriarchy to have a run. It's just that I'm not particularly invested in any of the teams unless Death Triangle turn up. So I don't really give a shit as long as someone gets really, really badly injured. Alright, let's talk about the coffin match. TNT Championship. Darby All In versus Jack Perry. The reason I'm doing this is because I predict this is how we'll have to watch the whole fucking match. AEW have done a decent job of building Jack Perry up to look like a hard bastard, which is no mean feat because his dad was in Beverly Hills 90210. He refused to quit in Blood and Guts. He challenged Darby Allin to a coffin match. I think we're about to see enough blood to make the Overlook Hotel go, ooh, no. In conclusion, Jack Perry wins because Darby doesn't need the title, and I think Jack Perry could potentially, if booked correctly, do good things with it. But I'm quite looking forward to watching the next match without having to do this to my face, even if it is a blessing to those of you watching. FTR versus the Acclaimed versus the Young Bucks. I'm glad the Acclaimed are in the match. I think it's too soon for the 5th part of FTR versus the Young Bucks. I don't know. It ought to be fucking exciting, oughtn't it? But this Young Bucks title run has been botched. Their whole authority figures thing has been botched. Just allow them to be irritating pricks. Does anyone remember 2021? 2021, they were just the best tag team champions of all time, in the respect that you could not wait for someone to batter the fuck out of them. They were so annoying. So why not just let them do that? I don't get it. FTR are stale as hell. I'm not going to lie. I love FTR. They are the best tag team of all time. I said that as far back as when they were in NXT. But they have got stale. They need a heel turn. They badly need a heel turn. I was really hoping this program with the Acclaimed would lead to it. As for the Acclaimed, I'm kind of over them as well. So I think Anthony Bowens deserves a run. I think Max Cassidy needs to turn heel on him. Bowens needs to go over him, and that'd be the start of a babyface run. But that's not going to happen anytime soon because they sell so much merch. So let's assume the Young Bucks win, and let's assume it is actually a banger match because the Young Bucks can certainly lay out a match. It's just that's a fingers crossed thing, isn't it? It's all a bit, ugh, please let this be good. And now, a break from our regularly scheduled programming. Fuck BM Punk, fuck BM Punk, fuck BM Punk. Just for clarity, BM stands for Blood Money. I know that this is petty and pointless and self-indulgent, and that could be the title of my autobiography. This week, he's given me an absolute barnstormer. He has said that he's the male Taylor Swift. A little bit of context. This is to do with people having complaints about the whole bracelet angle, the friendship bracelet angle. He's saying, if people want to give me a friendship bracelet, if people want to put a little bit of hard work into that and present it to me, I'm not going to say no. Now, I'm completely with him on this. Completely, genuinely. First time I've been on his side for about 3 years. However, he then went on to say it's a bit of a Taylor Swift thing to do, but you know what? I'm Taylor Swift for men. No, you're not. You want to know who Taylor Swift for men is? You'll never guess.
It's Taylor fucking Swift!
Now, I appreciate that a lot of the complaints about this angle have been that the angle is shitty booking. And yeah, I saw SummerSlam. The idea that a professional wrestler, well, a sports entertainer who was a professional wrestler until a couple of years ago, would abandon a win over a hated rival because he noticed that the referee was wearing his bracelet is ludicrous booking. But if you don't want ludicrous booking, do I have to say it? Don't re-sign with WWE, you fucking hypocrite. Seriously though, how dare you fucking equate yourself with Taylor Swift, you sexist piece of shit. The suggestion that Taylor Swift is only for women, oh my god, how dare you put yourself on her level, you pathetic wanker. You'll say anything for attention. This is the first thing you've said that since you re-signed hasn't been exactly what your new daddy Triple H told you to say, you utter fucking prick. Every time I record one of these, there's going to be a mini section, a really, really pathetic, petty mini section about what a prick BM Punk is. Timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May. This is the best story AEW have told in a long time. There's one other story that they're telling at the minute that I think is absolutely genius. We'll come to that. But this is brilliant. And I'm well aware that we all knew, that Mariah May was going to turn on Tony Storm. But the way it was done was flawless. No notes. I'm really looking forward to this match. I expect it to be extremely physical. I hope it gets about 20-25 minutes. I think Mariah May's going over. I really do. I just hope they deliver it in the right way to make it clear that despite the fact that she's wrestling in her hometown, that she is the heel. I don't want a Saraya moment from last year. Not that I had a problem with that, but this storyline's too important for a sympathetic ending. I think Tony needs to go out on her back, having been absolutely battered, and then reinvent herself. But yeah, I could see Mariah being a fantastic heel, possibly chicken shit heel champion for a while to come. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the match. I think it should be brilliant. Neat little segue there into our next match. Mariah May is an excellent example of what can happen when you're not actually that good of a wrestler, but your presence and your star power and just knowing what to do to a crowd gets you all the way over. She's basically what Britt Baker could be if Britt Baker was better at literally everything. To elaborate, I thought Britt Baker was a fucking useless wrestler when she debuted in AEW. I could not understand why people were cheering for her. She obviously did not know what she was doing. She turned heel, and then I was like, okay, I see the value now. Her heel turn was excellent, her heel work was excellent, her character work, her promos, all of it was excellent. Nonetheless, her in-ring game is still shit. She is not a good wrestler. And I know that doesn't always matter, but in a company like AEW, it kind of does. You know, the whole where the best wrestle thing, and I believe it. I do believe it's where the best wrestle. Britt Baker is not a good wrestler, and they've put her up against Mercedes Moné, who is arguably the best wrestler on the female roster, arguably. I know Serena Deeb, I know Athena, not the point. It's a massive mismatch. And then there's Camille. The Brick House. Most houses are made of bricks. What you're calling her there is a house. Things have moved on since the Three Little Pigs. Thank you very much, the Big Bad Wolf, for telling us what we should be making houses of in future. Just call her what you want to call her. The Brick Shit House. We'll all be very, very happy to hear Camille referred to as the Brick Shit House. But yeah, I can't see Mercedes Moné, great wrestler that she is, huge ego that she is, being happy to drop the belt to Britt Baker. I also can't see how they'd make that work. With Camille in Mercedes' corner, there is one way, it's just occurred to me. Jamie Hayter returning and backing Britt up. And if that happens, I'll be out of my fucking seat. I really miss Jamie Hayter. She was a fantastic women's champion. But let's assume that isn't on the cards and that Mercedes retains very easily. I can't see Mercedes dropping that belt until she's ready to move on to the women's title the AEW Women's Championship, excuse me. And as long as we're assuming that Mariah wins that, I don't see a heel versus heel program coming soon, and both women are clearly better off as heels. So Mercedes to retain in what will probably be a really, really crap piss break of a match. I suppose we've gone about as far now as we can without mentioning it. Chris Jericho versus Hook. I have several objections to this. One, why? Two, no, the second one's the same as the first. Why? Problem the third. This is a mid-card feud. We have seen this match twice already, and yet we have to see it at Wembley Stadium, which is not necessarily a problem in itself, except Kazuchika Okada versus Claudio Castagnoli, which in any other year could potentially be a match of the year candidate. Obviously that's all wrapped up by now, but how is that happening tonight in Cardiff at the time of recording and not at Wembley Stadium? How is Kazuchika Okada not on the bill, but Chris Jericho versus Hook, the third chapter, is? I should just say, Chris Jericho's done a cracking job with this new character, but he needs to take some time off. He really, really, really does. He needs to give someone else his TV time. As entertaining as he might be, this isn't what we should be watching. And it doesn't reflect well on Hook either. 2 years ago, he was AEW's great, bright hope for the future. For the second year running at All In, he's scrapping over the FTW Championship with a guy who nicked it from him. Should he not move on? I actually hope Jericho wins. I think Jericho will win. I hope he moves on to something a bit more meaningful, and eventually, when this whole thing runs out of steam, retires the championship, because we don't need it. We don't need it. We just don't. Yes, I was hiccuping. Shut up. People who aren't on the card. Kazuchika Okada, we've just talked about that, but it is inexcusable to have a wrestler of that calibre on your roster and not give him a singles match at the biggest event of the year, especially when he holds a title, is... I don't get it. John Moxley, I assume, is due to injury. Jay White is due to injury. Orange Cassidy, we've talked about. Hangman Page. Where's Hangman Page? And that brings me to...
The Casino Gauntlet match!
I was going to say, I'll never do that again, but I'm a YouTuber now, so pay me to never do that again. Now, without any basis to back this up, I was hoping the Casino Gauntlet match would be won by either Kenny Omega or Random Cole. At this point, we have to assume that it'll be Hangman Page who wins it to force another match with Swerve. I'm going to go off on one here. I think AEW are building a legitimately brilliant rivalry for the ages between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. There's been a lot of criticism about how Swerve is clearly a heel, but they're presenting him as a face, and Hangman was playing the heel. I think they're playing a very, very clever long game, which involves Swerve having got himself over as a face because he's just cool as hell, but maintaining that edge, that ruthlessness is always there, that willingness to do whatever it takes to win. That's how he got to the top. He's constantly talking about it, and that's brilliant. That's brilliant, because he could turn heel like that. Hangman, whilst he's acting like a fucking lunatic, hasn't said anything which isn't true. As my best mate always points out, people need to remember that Hangman is not the heel in this situation. I think Hangman's desperation to win and Swerve's ruthlessness could lead to a wonderful pivot, a double turn in the match that sees people very, very happy to see Hangman as champion. So to the main event. Ooh, I'm very excited for this match. I've never seen Bryan Danielson wrestle in person. I did see Swerve wrestle last year. Obviously, that wasn't the Swerve we know now. I think this could be, again, this would be a match of the year contender if Danielson and Ospreay hadn't wrapped that up. I can't call it, honestly. The idea that Hangman will interfere and deny Danielson will get heel heat on him, and I don't like the idea of heel heat on him, if I'm honest. I want him to keep doing the right thing in a really, really maniacal way. But you can't come back from heel heat of forcing Bryan Danielson to retire. But I do think Swerve retains, because I think it has to be Hangman to take it off him. Or possibly, if TK wants to send the fans home happy, Danielson wins it. We get a massive yes chant to close out Wembley, and then the more I think about this, the more I think that's what's going to happen. Swerve will win it back at Wrestle Dream, and that will be Danielson's last match. But it's going to be emotional, isn't it? It's going to be really, really fucking emotional. I will be aiming to live blog a bunch of this, get some videos from the tailgate party in the box park that's being run by Hooked on Wrestling, and then I'm at Progress the next day in the Electric Ballroom. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. I'm going with my girlfriend and several of my very closest friends, and it's going to be amazing. If you've watched this far, fuck knows how you've done it, but I appreciate it, and I hope I'll see you at Wembley.